Und damit herzlich willkommen zurück bei Nein. Ja, eine kurze zusätzliche Aufnahme, die ich jetzt einen Tag später aufnehme. Tut mir leid, dass ich den Run gestern nicht mehr geschafft habe. Ich war ein bisschen fertig. Also 3 Stunden lang viel vorlesen ist schon ziemlich anstrengend. Aber mir war wichtig, diesen Run irgendwie noch fortzuführen, weil es war irgendwie so unsatisfying, jetzt dieses Ende oder das Ending oder wie es weitergeht, nochmal auszusetzen. Deswegen eine kleine Zusatzaufnahme. Warum denn nicht? Tut doch keinem weh. So, wo waren wir stehen geblieben? Ja, wir mussten basically Tür 2 nehmen, weil wir, anders als im letzten Run, nicht die, genau, weil wir im letzten Run nicht die anderen Schlüssel gefunden haben, beziehungsweise Schlüsselkarten gefunden haben, die uns zu Tür 1 und 2, Tür 1 und 6 bringen, so rum. Genau, deswegen sind wir jetzt locked in Raum 2. Ich bin sehr gespannt. Los geht's. It was a short hallway with 5 doors along the walls. There were 3 doors along the left wall and a single one on the right. At the end of the hallway, the 5th door was covered by a thick metal plate. Junpei didn't think they'd be able to open it. After taking a look around the room himself, Seven spoke. Alright, let's get started. I think we'd probably better split up. You two okay with that? Yes, no problem. Sure thing. Ich stelle mal eben mein Wasser auf die andere Seite, damit ich nicht aus Versehen gegen das Mikrofon dötze, wenn ich versuche, einen Schluck Wasser heimlich zu trinken. Seven nodded to them and stepped into the room closest to him. Goodbye. Lotus looked at the doors for a moment, then headed for the one in the center. Tschüss. At last, Junpei was left alone. Well, I guess I'd better get started too. He looked intently at the remaining 3 doors. Seek a way out. Ja, dann mal frisch ans Werk. Confinement Room Front Hallway. Confinement Room. Guck mal kurz um. Es hat sowas von diesem, kennt dieses GIF von dem Fisch mit den Kopfhörern auf. Ich weiß nicht mehr, wie die Melodie geht. Mein Gehirn ist gerade blank. Aber ja, also der Kopf hin und her dreht sich. Hehe. Okay. Ja, das ist unspektakulär. Guck mal hier. Das sind tatsächlich so Zellen, kann das sein? Entschuldigung. Man, this is a mess. It's not even a bed anymore. Can't say I'd want to sleep there. Ja, Seven ist also hier, das ist doch schön. This bed is really dirty. There's a dirty blanket on the bed. Okay. Mehr nicht, wir können es einfach nur angucken und es ist bar. Cool. Was ist das? Erstmal. Alles ist hier irgendwie komisch. There's a tile stuck in the drain. There's a little tile in the drain. Doesn't look like we're gonna be able to pull it out of there. Might have to use our hands on this one. Heads on this one. Entschuldigung, ich bin noch ein bisschen... Es ist Sonntag, ich bin ein bisschen, noch ein bisschen gemütlich. Alright, let's figure this thing out. Huh, looks like the water doesn't work. Doesn't matter how much Seven turns that thing, no water's coming out. Has the water been shut off from somewhere else? No water comes out of this faucet, even if you turn the knob. There's a tile stuck in the drain. There's a tile stuck in the drain. There's no way we're gonna be able to pull it out. Okay. Was ist das? What the hell is this supposed to be? Like a drawing of a whirlpool or something? But if I had to guess, I'd say it's trying to look like water. There's a drawing on the mirror that looks kinda like a spring. Dadurch, dass der Artstyle irgendwie, Entschuldigung, dem regulären, also der Artstyle von dieser Malerei, dem regulären Artstyle ein bisschen ähnlich sieht es fast schon so aus, als ob es versucht, irgendwie wie eine Reflexion auszusehen. So, oh mein Gott, da ist der Geist von Water Orb auf dem Bett. Wow. Naja. There's a partition here. Maybe it's for privacy? Privacy, huh? Für was? Der Shitter. Dieses Close-up von der Klopapierrolle. Cool. I don't think I'm gonna need this tube. This part's thinner than the rest. In fact, this doesn't really look like it's part of the rest of this thing. This rod feels loose. Maybe if I give it a couple turns. Here we go. A screwdriver shaft. Na so, was wird denn den da reingemacht? Wow. Hey, this is a screwdriver shaft. It's missing a handle though. Even if we run into a screw it fits, we're gonna have a hard time of it without a handle. Well, if we can find the handle, maybe then it'll do us some good. A rod from a Phillips head screwdriver. The other end of it is threaded. Da kann man einen Griff reinschrauben. Well, it looks like the rod comes out easily enough, but I don't think the rest of that is going anywhere. Nein, jetzt muss man das Klopapier oben drauf legen. Bäh. Widerlich. Bah. Das ist ja cool. This looks like a toilet. Pretty old school toilet. Guess that makes sense though. This ship seems pretty old. Pretty old too. An old school toilet. Cool. A symbol on the toilet lid, huh? Seems a little fishy to me. It's a sun symbol, but it doesn't look like the ones on the doors. Wait. Ah, meint, das alchemistische, das alchemische Symbol für Sonne, glaube ich. Kreis und Punkt. It's a sun symbol. Hey, this handle is pretty loose. Loose? You think it'll come off if you pull on it? It fell off. Huh. Look at this. That handle doesn't really fit on the string. Maybe it wasn't meant to be attached to it. Ein Handle, na sowas. Take a look at this handle. The inside of the hole is threaded, like you're supposed to screw something in there. Have you seen anything that might fit in there? Looks like something screws into this handle. Oh, ich habe einen Phillips Head Screwdriver Shaft, der ein gewundenes Ende hat, was ich irgendwo reinschrauben kann. Ich habe einen Griff, der ein gewundenes, hineingehendes Ende hat, wo man irgendwas reinschrauben kann. Boah, das ist voll Stumpf, was soll ich denn jetzt machen? So, if I just stick this metal rod into the handle. Süß. Thank God it's the right kind of screwdriver for that screw. Awesome. We can totally use this. Damn, the screwdriver looks like a Okay, ist das jetzt die britische Aussprechweise oder die amerikanische? Bei der amerikanischen dreht sich das L um und das ist eigentlich ein querliegendes D. Das heißt ein soldering iron. Damn, the screwdriver looks like a soldering iron. You think it's some sorta industrial grade screwdriver? Guess that doesn't really matter. Anyway, so long as we've got this thing, we can unscrew any Phillips screws we run into. Was wahrscheinlich vielleicht eine sein wird. Okay, hier scheint es aber soweit nichts mehr zu geben. Water. The drawing on the mirror looks kind of like a spring. Ich glaube, wir brauchen Wasser. Halt, stopp, Stuhl. This chair's pretty old. If seven sat on it, it'll probably break. Huh? You say something? Nothing at all. This chair is totally old. Okay. Schreibtisch. This thing's really simple. Is it really a desk? Well, of course it's gonna be simple. I mean, it's probably like that so we don't try and use it as part of the puzzle, right? You probably use a desk to write letters to your family or something, but this is a boat. I'll bet the only thing they used this for was eating off of. Valid point. It's a really simple desk. There's only one drawer in it. Huh? What the hell? It's not opening. There's something up with this drawer. I don't trust it. Somebody made sure this drawer wouldn't open. Ja, guck mal, hier sind Schrauben. Haha. Sweet. Got the screws off. Now we can open the drawer. Und was ist drin? Willst mich verarschen? There's nothing in here. Well, maybe the drawer's what we need. The drawer, huh? Alright, let's yank the thing out. Yeah, sure, okay. Hmm? There's a bump on the back. I wonder what it's for. Maybe there's a hole somewhere and these bumps line up with it and trigger a hidden switch or something. Hey, we've seen weirder stuff. Doesn't seem that far-fetched. Ja, das stimmt. This drawer has a weird bump on the back of it. Maybe there's some kind of switch somewhere that these bumps fit. Seems a little far-fetched though. An den Flecken an der Wand sagt er nix. Hier ist auch nix, ne? Kann sich das nur angucken. Wahrscheinlich irgendwas später. Okay, nächster Raum. Aha, hier ist, also drüben war so eine Quelle. Blub, blub. Und hier ist so ein Fluss, so schwusch, schwusch. This drain's kind of weird shape for a drain. You think they made it that shape for a reason? Or just for fun? So these sinks, they're on opposite sides of the wall, right? No, it's not just the sinks. Everything's opposite, like a mirror image. So? That's normal if you're both using the same water pipes, right? There's no knob on this faucet. There's no way we can get water out of it like this. If we can find a knob or something that'll work as one, then we should be able to get water to come out of this thing. Interesting. Also diese Zelle ist ein Spiegelbild von der anderen Zelle. Somebody made some wavy blue lines on this mirror with blue paint. Is it a drawing of a blue scarf? No, maybe not. Okay. This wall, is this supposed to be some sort of partition? What do you think this is? Privacy is important for these things. Well, it's not like you're going to use it, Lotus. At least the guards wouldn't watch you drop a loaf. Heck, it's better than being totally exposed, right? It's a partition that hides part of the bathroom. Ich wette, es gibt einige Leute, die dafür Geld bezahlen würden, Lotus bei sowas zuzusehen. Ach, gucke mal da. Towel. Das ist ein komplettes Bild da drauf. Well, it looks like a towel. I have to wonder if the design means anything though. Maybe you should consider what the design might be. Perhaps that'll give us a hint? This towel has a weird design on it. What could it mean? What does the design look like? Ein Fluss und ein Spring. Merkwürdig, merkwürdig. Ansonsten, that bed looks cold. Pretty sure you'd freeze to death in the winter. No kidding. If I tried to sleep here, my skin would dry out in no time. Well, it's not like you're that young anymore. That shouldn't really matter. My, Junpei, aren't you lucky? It seems you'll die before you have a chance to grow old and hideous. I'm sorry, you're right. Dry skin is a woman's worst enemy. Ja. Zieh lieber zurück. Welpe. This bed looks even sadder without the pillow. So, it's still a terrible bed. I'd never sleep on a bed like that. It's a bed without a pillow on it. That's pretty much it. This bed looks cold. It's got a single threadbare blanket and that's it. So, this paper seems to be pretty old. Ew, how the hell can you touch that? It's horrible. Well, it's not like I've really got a choice, do I? It's not like I want to. Half-used toilet paper? Well, it's old and it's kinda grossing me out, but there's nothing suspicious about it. Aha, und ein Mond. This toilet is disgusting. Und dabei hat sie diese traurige Expression. Okay, warte, let me give this another try. This toilet is disgusting. You don't expect me to touch that thing, do you? If you don't want to, then I'll do it, alright? This toilet is vile. Unsurprisingly, Lotus refuses to go anywhere near it. Jetzt will ich aber auch reingucken. Komm, lass mich reingucken. Verdammt. A moon? What a filthy, disgusting moon. Yeah, it's pretty filthy, but it's a precious hint. Let's remember it, alright? Okay, here's der Mond. Drüben ist die Sonne, ja? There's a picture of a moon here. It's just hanging from the wall. Well, if you're pulling the string, then it must be a toilet that flushes. There's a string hanging from the ceiling here. You pull it to flush the toilet. Ja, flush it. Na, verdammt. Naja. So, andere Seite. This looks like a chair for prisoners. It's rusty, but I don't think it's gonna be a lot of help. Isn't that obvious? Look, I don't want to touch anything unless I have to. Lotus is not having this. Does she really not want to be in this room that bad? Hat da jemand vielleicht schlechte Erfahrungen mit solchen Räumen gemacht? It's a really old chair. There's nothing in the drawer. Yeah, something's not right though. That handle on the drawer doesn't really fit, you know. It just looks messy. Nein, es sieht nur messing aus, ha? Weil, verstehst du, weil messing, egal. Well, don't you take it out? Center room drawer. Oh. So there's a mirror on the other side of this drawer. Interesting. It's kind of an odd shape. And it looks like someone attached the handle with a screw after the fact. Huh. I don't know. If I use the screwdriver on the screw on the center of the handle, maybe I can... Hurrah! Well, that came off easily enough. It looks like a faucet handle. Yeah, it seemed a little weird to put it on a wooden drawer like this. I'm sure they made it look odd on purpose. With a shape like that, there's only one place it could go. It sure looks like this handle goes to the faucet. Okay, aber... Da sind so Bumps hinten dran, da ist ein Spiegel unten dran. If you take the handle off, it's just a big mirror. Usually you'd use a mirror to reflect something, but I can't see how that would help us here. What else can we do with it? Well, it'd be really pretty if we shatter it. Das gibt 7 Jahre Pech, Lotus. Was soll das? There's a mirror on the back of this drawer. All I can do with it is reflect stuff. Naja, first things first. Gehen wir erstmal wieder hier hin. Ups. Sweet, the handle I got off that drawer fits onto the faucet perfectly. Now I can turn the water on. Junpei, what are you doing? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? I'm running the water. I can see that. I'm asking you why you're just letting it run like that. Think about it, Lotus. This faucet didn't have a knob when we found it, right? What do you mean? Just watch. Anytime now. Hey, water's filling up. Doesn't that just mean the pipes are clogged? Oops, let's turn it off for now. So, did anything change? The water stopped flowing. Thank you, Mr. Obvious. Junpei, I'm leaving this one to you, alright? Is the drain clogged? It looks like a lot of the water isn't draining out of the sink. The sink is totally filled with water. There are a couple of wavy lines. Verschwinden wir erstmal von hier. Gucken mal, ob sich hier was verändert hat. Aha. There's water in this room too. What do you mean, this room too? Well, I turned on the faucet in the other room and it looks like it made the water come up through here. So the drain in the other room just runs here and the water from over there pushed out this tile. Interessant. Schön. So we've got this tile. And it's got these red, blue and grey lines. What the heck does this stuff mean? Hell if I know. Take a look at this tile here. See, if you look real close, the 3 red lines here are on top of the other ones. The red lines? Yeah. A tile with 3 lines on it, huh? Hey Junpei, I was thinking. The red line on the top. Doesn't it look like a 14? 14, huh? Yeah, I guess it kinda does. The red lines on the tile look like they make a 14. Ja, das stimmt. Oh. Alter, wir rauschen hier durch wie sonst was. Was ist denn da los? Junpei put the wet tile into his pocket. He was about to turn away when there was a noise behind him. He spun around to see 7 kneeling on the floor. His face was rigid and pale. Droplets of sweat covered his forehead. Hey, what's going on? You okay, man? He was concerned. He'd never seen 7 like this before. Slowly, the other man lifted himself to his feet and shaky legs. Yeah, I'm fine. I just got a little dizzy, that's all. Das ist das 2. Mal, dass das passiert, ne? Das erste Mal war in der Kabine der 1. Klasse. His face was pale and his breathing was heavy. Sweat was pouring off his face and staining his shirt. He was many things, but fine was not one of them. Are you sure? You don't look so good. 7 didn't answer. Half of his face was twisted as if distorted by extreme pain, and his eyes were glazed. Finally he spoke. What am I doing here? Huh? His words made no sense. What are you talking about? We opened the number 2 door and walked in here. Don't tell me you forgot. No, that's not what I mean. He shook his head several times as if trying to clear something from it. It ain't much, but I think some of my memories came back. I think I've been here before. Huh? I said I've been in this room before. You were here? When? Why? Aoi, light, Nona. Suddenly 7 was mumbling to himself. They were words Junpei didn't understand. Even Seven's hoarse voice trailed off, and Junpei couldn't make out what he'd said. What the hell was that? Seven's brow furrowed furiously, and he ground his teeth back and forth. It's right there. I feel like I'm this close to remembering everything, but I just can't. Seven stopped, frustrated. He pulled his hat off and ran a hand through his hair. Then suddenly he looked up, his eyes wide. That's right! An experiment! There was some kind of experiment going on the ship. Genau wie Clover in der letzten Runde gemeint hat. Vielleicht wollte sie deswegen nicht vor Seven darüber reden, weil er sich vielleicht daran erinnert hätte. Wir kommen der ganzen Sache ein bisschen näher. An experiment? What sort of experiment? They were trying to control people. Or something like that. Junpei didn't know what to make of Seven's story. Instead, he simply stared as Seven continued. Aoi, Light, and Nona. Those were their names. Well, some of them. Aoi, Light, and Nona. Snake, Santa, and Clover? The kids that were there. In the experiment, I mean. I think there were 4 or 5 more, but I don't remember all their names. Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm here. Seven began to mumble to himself and wander aimlessly about the room. He looked confused. So far as Junpei could tell, that the man was simply rambling, and there were odd twitches in his movements. Experiment. Cradle pharmaceutical. Those kidnapped kids. Was I working that case? Seven continued to mumble to himself about things that meant nothing to Junpei. Junpei didn't have any answers for him, of course. He couldn't understand what was happening to Seven. All he could do was wait. After a few minutes, Seven finally stopped. He crouched down and looked under the bed. His face registered mild surprise, and he began to mumble to himself again. The hole's gone. No, maybe it was a different room. There's gotta be a ton of rooms on this boat that look just like this one. At last Junpei could contain himself no longer. Hey, what exactly do you remember? Well, maybe you could stop talking like a crazy person and tell me what's going on here. Seven stood up slowly. Well, it's not like I really remember everything. I've only got bits and pieces, and they're scattered and don't make much sense. I don't care. Tell me the bits and pieces then. Junpei could feel it. Whatever Seven had remembered, it was important, very important. Seven drew a large muscled hand down across his face. As he wiped the sweat from his brow, he spoke. From what I can remember, I think I was a cop. A cop? Yeah. I was looking for that group of kids that got kidnapped 9 years ago. Auch das hat Clover gesagt, dass das ganze Experiment vor 9 Jahren stattgefunden hat. You remember that, right? It was all over the news. Yeah, I was still in school. I don't remember all the details, but I do remember some of it. Ich frage mich, wie alt Junpei ist. War das zu dem Zeitpunkt, wo er mit June in der Grundschule war? I think it was a bunch of kids right around my age. They all just disappeared. Nobody knew why. It was all over TV and the newspapers every day. So you're saying you were investigating it? Yeah, that's what it looks like. And I guess I found something. There was this medical company called Cradle Pharmaceutical that had something to do with those kids. After I figured that out, I managed to get some information out of somebody who worked for them. They told me a ship would be leaving that night with all the kids on it. They were gonna be taken to some kinda big passenger ship somewhere out in the ocean. Oh mein Gott, es ist Cop 7. Krass. Er sieht ein bisschen noch mehr aus wie ein Yakuza. And so Seven had headed to the wharf. He kept to the shadows and before long found the suspicious ship he'd been looking for. There were a number of human shapes moving near the ship. There were men in black suits. Many of them were carrying large bags onto the ship. The bags. There was something about the way they moved as they was carried. There could be no mistake. There were human beings in those bags. He had moved before he even realized he was going to. Out of the shadows he came, his gun already in his hand. He heard the words, "Don't move," but they weren't his. He felt metal touch the back of his head. "Drop your gun," came the cold voice from behind him. With the words, he felt the cold metal thing behind him press against his skull. Slowly, Seven crouched down and laid his gun on the ground. Then suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in his neck. A needle. Was it some sort of drug? As he was thinking about that, Seven felt his face hit the cold concrete beneath him. He could feel the chill of it seeping into him. Ugh, damn it. Shit, my head hurts. Seven walked to find himself lying on a hard floor. Ist schon ein bisschen silly. Sorry, das ist sehr ernst. He twisted his neck to peer around the room. Where am I? There was a small, shabby bed and a dirty sink. A toilet with no stall or privacy of any sort. As a cop, it was a place Seven had seen all too often. I'm in a cellar. Opposite the toilet was a door set into the wall. Seven struggled to his feet and hobbled toward it. He gave the door a good shove, then another, then tried pulling it. It didn't open. Well, that was about what he'd expected. It wasn't likely that someone would put him in a cell only to leave it unlocked. He threw himself against the door a few times, but to no avail. I knew it. Seven grumbled to himself as he moved back toward the bed and he sat down. He sat there for a very long time. Just how long he wasn't sure. At last he began to nod off, and had nearly fallen asleep when he was aroused by a distant voice.
There is over. It's Eine.
The voice was far away, very far away. Seven couldn't understand what it was saying. Nonetheless, it was a voice, and a high one. Most likely a child. Oh ja, Das, vielleicht fixe ich das im Post. His eyes shot open.
Okay.
As he listened, he could pick out several different, distinct voices. There were at least 5 or 6, possibly more. Where were the voices coming from? He looked around the room frantically. Perhaps the door? No, that wasn't it.
Let go on.
Was it coming from the left? Was it coming from under the bed? He grabbed the bed and flipped it up with ease. Alter, der ist eine Bestie, der Typ. There it was. There was a hole for ventilation in the wall where the bed had been, covered with a metal grate. Seven lay down on the stomach and peered through the grate. He couldn't see anything. It was too dark. Now that he'd found it, however, there could be no doubts. This was the source of the voices. Das fühlt sich übrigens gerade richtig wichtig an, ne? Das muss ich mir definitiv alles aufschreiben. For a moment he was confused. Why were there children nearby? Then he remembered what the man from Cradle Pharmaceutical had told him. How a ship would take the kidnapped children from the wharf to a waiting passenger liner out in the ocean. Was Seven on that passenger liner? It didn't matter. What mattered was that he find a way to the children. Seven looked at the metal grate. Could he fit through that hole? He stuck his fingers through the grate and grabbed hold of it. Warum haben die dabei das Klo gezeigt? Was soll das denn? Yeah, how'd you like that, you son of a bitch? The dark square sat open before him. Seven wiped the sweat from his forehead and crawled inside. Junpei waited for Seven to resume his story. The longer he waited, however, the clearer it became that Seven had no intention of doing so. He had gone silent and simply stared off into the air, his eyes blank. Hey, what happened after that? He'd waited long enough, but Seven shook his head. I don't remember what happens after that. I think I found some kind of door out of the duct. And I think I found some kids too. Oh man, why can't I remember what happened next? Oh man, what happened to the kids, Seven? Did you save them? I don't know. I don't know if it was me. I've got this feeling. I think one of the kids died. A girl, I think. Huh? Deep in his heart, Junpei felt something very cold. Seven's head dropped, and Junpei saw on it a look of sadness the likes of which he had never seen on a man before. The large man's eyes blinked rapidly, as if he were fighting back tears, and he swallowed hard. His sigh was like the melancholy setting of an old abandoned building. He shook his head and spoke. Anyway, just please don't ask me anymore, okay? I really don't remember anything else. After that, Junpei could hardly try to force any answers out of the other man. There was nothing more he could do. Instead, Junpei turned his mind to trying to make sense of what Seven had told him. The children who had been kidnapped 9 years before. Apparently, a company called Cradle Pharmaceutical had been behind the kidnappings and had taken the children to the ship they were on now. They had been brought to the ship for an experiment. Something to do with controlling human beings, Seven had said. The 16 children who'd been kidnapped were the subjects for the experiment. Seven had said 3 of their names were Aoi, Light, and Nona. That was the new information. He had also learned that Seven was or had been a police officer. Still, there was little he could do with this new information. He'd learned nothing about the Nonary game or Zero. He had no idea why they had been brought to the ship that had been the site of those experiments 9 years before. Junpei couldn't forget what Seven had said the purpose of the experiment had been. To control human beings. Could such an absurd experiment really have been conducted? Before long, Junpei realized he had spent quite some time deep in thought. No time for that, he chided himself. He had work to do. Junpei shook his head quickly to clear it and returned to his investigation, thoughts swirling in his mind. Ich muss mir einen Path aufschreiben, mit dem ich... Okay, Memo an Zukunftssnap. Ein Path, wo wir durch Tür 5 gehen. Das Kleeblatt für Clover kriegen. Dann machen wir den Raum mit Clover und Seven, wo wir Clover das Kleeblatt geben, über das Experiment herausfinden. Und dann nochmal durch Tür 2 und gucken, ob das irgendwas triggert. Wir können dadurch jetzt schon mal sagen, dass sowohl Santa als auch Clover als auch Seven fest in dieses Experiment integriert sind. Und bei Extension würde ich auch sagen, dass Snake auch mit dabei war. Wahrscheinlich waren alle mit dabei, aber diese drei, also Santa, Clover und Seven, können wir definitiv schon mal sagen, irgendwas ist mit denen. Irgendwie sind die in dieses Experiment auf die eine oder andere Weise involviert. Okay. Haben wir hier noch irgendwas? Ich glaube nicht. Das ist ja spooky. The light's barely enough to see by. I feel like I'm gonna see a ghost here or something. It's a blanket. Not really a great one, but still. Es ist wirklich verdammt spooky hier. Ich mag das nicht. It's a sink, but there's no light shining on it. It's hard to be sure because it's so dark here, but I don't think there's anything going on with this sink. The faucet is too hard to turn. It's a sink, but there's no light shining on it. In the other room, the river and the spring went together to solve the puzzle. Does that mean there might be a similar puzzle with this mirror? Well, there's nothing else here apart from the mirror. Maybe I just need to pair something with this mirror. Ah, es ergibt sich ein Bild. Gucken wir erstmal hier. 14 equals E. Okay, das klingt wichtig. Looks like a dirty toilet, but it's too dark to tell. Toilet paper. It's still white enough for me to know what it is, even in the dark. There's nothing out of the ordinary about it. It says 14 equals E in red. 14 in red. That's what it says on the tile. Das ist wieder Hexcode, gell? Ja. Well, more or less. See, the 14 on the tile is... Well, it's an E, right? 14 equals E. Und wir haben diese Tile hier. Das heißt, das bedeutet E. I can just barely make out the string for the toilet, but I can get a hold of it. Damn it. It kinda pisses me off that I can see it, but can't touch it. I can't get a hold of it, okay. Alright, I took a couple of tries, but now I've got you, string. Yes! Now I can pull on it. Huh? Doesn't matter how many times I pull it, there's no flush. I kinda feel like an idiot. I wasted a bunch of time, cause I was determined to flush a toilet. Nein, it's okay. This toilet won't flush when you pull the string. Okay, mehr scheint hier aber nicht zu sein. It says 14 equals E, just like the 14 on the tile. I can just barely see a mirror from the light coming through the ceiling. Sure would be nice if that mirror was a little lower down. It looks like it's the same height as the mirror on the right. I wonder if that means anything. Drawer without handle. Drawer without handle war das, gell? The mirror is hanging at the same height as the one on the right. There's a mirror in the back of the room, hung opposite this one. The only difference between them is whether or not they're reflecting any light. Bro, das ist doch das Ding, oder nicht? Ja, da. Ja, das ist doch... Halt den Spiegel dahin. Halt ihn dahin. Verdammt. It's a sink, but there's no light shining on it. Yeah. Okay, ich muss das Licht anklicken. Da. We can probably use this mirror to reflect the light. Now we just gotta figure out where to reflect the light. Maybe if I go somewhere that's a little easier to shine light on. So if I shine this light on the mirror in the back. I get it. If I shine light on the mirror, a symbol appears. The left one has a sun and the right one's got a moon symbol. I'm gonna remember this. Sun, moon. I'm gonna shine the light on the mirror in the back. Is that a number? So if I shine light on this mirror, then I get to see some numbers. I can see a 4 on the left and a 7 on the right. Also Sonne ist gleich 4. Mond ist gleich 7. 4 und 7. Left side is the sun, the right symbol looks like a moon. Ja. Das schreibe ich mir mal eben kurz auf. 4 gleich Sonne. 7 gleich Mond. 14 gleich E. Okay. This desk is old and rusty. God damn it, no matter what I pull on this damn thing, it won't budge. Guess I won't be opening this anytime soon. Doesn't look like it's got a keyhole, and there doesn't seem to be anything stopping it. How the hell am I supposed to open it? Nun gut, nun gut. Emergence. There are a bunch of tiles on the door that spell out emergence. Emergence. Maybe it means we need to emerge out of here. Emergence probably means to emerge or to escape from here. Do we need to do something with these tiles to open the door? Emergence, huh? There's a door in the back. I wonder where it goes. I thought of that and I tried a couple of things, but yeah, same result. Guess 7 wasn't about to do anything. Well. The door in the back won't open. Ah, okay, das macht mehr Sinn. The ceiling. Ceiling. So that's the ceiling, huh? I wonder if it's sealing us in. Aha! That's the hallway ceiling. Okay, das war's. There's a bulge in the wall. Interessant. Warte mal. Was ist, wenn ich diesen Drawer da rein tue? Sound like something falling. Ah, ich habe jetzt den Drawer aus dem anderen Raum in diesen Raum reingesetzt. What was that? I heard it too. Let's open the drawer. Aha. Noch eine. The red lines on the tile look like they make a 14. Fetzen bedeutet eh, gell? Ich habe auch noch dieses Handtuch. This mirror was probably put here to reflect what's opposite from it. It's a thing, but there's no light shining on it. The tiles we found and the tiles here are the same size. When I touched the tiles on the door, I felt something weird. Huh? I can move these tiles. Then that means maybe if you swap the tiles we got with the tiles on the wall, something will happen. I suppose now we just need to figure out what the strange designs on these tiles mean. At any rate, we should look for all the tiles that are the same size. You're right. Let's meet back here after we've done the thorough search. Ah, ich dachte schon, ich wäre halb durch. Verdammt. Hält mich ganz schön auf Trab, dieser Raum doch. Hätte ich nicht erwartet. Dirty blanket. Really dirty. Sonne. Sonne bedeutet 4. drawing on the mirror looks just like part of the design on the towel. And the design on the towel was a river. And a spring, right? If the picture on this mirror is a spring and it's talking about the water in the sink. War das Handtuch nur ein Hinweis? So it's trying to show water flowing from the river and gathering in the spring? What are you going on about? Maybe you ought to explain. Forget about the puzzle we already solved. We need to look for new ones. Just like the spring indicated, the sink's full of water. Yeah. Looks like the water bubbled up through the strain and pushed a tile out. Was mache ich denn mit dieser Handtuch? Will ich irgendwas sauber machen? The drawing on the mirror is just like part of that image on the towel. The towel has a river and a spring, is it? This mirror has a river on it. If it's indicating the sink, then totally filled with water. It's the same as the moon symbol we saw in the dark room. Right, there was a number there too, right? Number, that's probably how many times you're supposed to flush, how many times you pull the string. Also, 7 Mal? This is what the moon symbol was pointing to, huh? They probably made it so that someone wouldn't trigger it by accident. If that's the case. Eins. Second time. 2. Das ist ein bisschen obskur, ne? And the third time. Fourth time. Fifth time. This is the 6th consecutive time. Huh? Did you hear something? I heard a loud flushing noise. No, not that. Wo? This toilet is vile. Unsurprisingly, Lotus refuses to go anywhere near it. Keine Ahnung. Gehe ich mal in den anderen Raum wieder? This looks just like the sun symbol we saw in that dark room. Yeah, that's right. There was some kind of number hint there too. I think maybe the number was how many times you gotta take a piss. No, it's gotta be how many times you flushed. Only thing you can manipulate in this room is that string. Chances are they made this puzzle so someone wouldn't trigger it by accident. 1. I guess I should keep pulling on the string then. Alright, here goes. Second pull. 2. Third pull. Yeah. There it is again. It makes some kind of weird sound when I pull on that string. The same thing happened in the other room. That means... I don't know, don't you think it's a little suspicious that the other room gave us a hint to figure out this one out? You're right. The room next door is just like this one, so that leaves the dark room. There's a ray of light in the center of the room. You don't need to shine light on the hint anymore. Mein Gedanke war jetzt gerade, oh, warum gibt es irgendwie in diesen Räumen, in diesen Zellen Hints aus den anderen Räumen? Das ist die Essenz vom morphogenetischen Feld, oder? Naja. 14 equals E. It says 14 equals E, just like the 14 on the tile. So the won't flush when you pull on the string. Is das jetzt unlocked? Aha! Well, this drawer opens easily enough. Noch eins davon. Red lines on the tile look like they make a 14. Und noch eins. 4 Stück jetzt. Oops. Okay. Well, it looks like we've investigated all the rooms. The only mystery left is that door. Alright, let's crack that mystery then. We've got 4 tiles. And there are a bunch of tiles that are the same size up on the wall here. So if we replace 4 of the tiles on the wall with the ones we've got, that should open the door. Well, there's only one way to find out. Ich replace einfach mal alle E's, weil E heißt 14. Ne, 14 heißt E, so rum. Hey, did you just hear something unlock? Does that mean we got it right? Yes, it looks like we did. The 14 hidden on the tile. If you convert that to hexadecimal, it's an E. Basically, the E's in emergence are the 14s from the tiles. So if we replace it, that gives us the answer. Do you really care why it worked? Let's just get out of here. Yes, let's go. Komisch, dass die andere Tür nicht aufging. Aber wir haben es gefunden. Ja, you found it. They passed through the opened door and headed to the next room. Junpei jogged down the short staircase and looked around. Alter, was ist das? Das ist ja ganz furchtbar. Ja, meine Reaction exactly. What the hell is this place? The words had sprung unbidden to his lips, but it was clear why. Junpei shivered. Lotus and Seven reached the bottom of the stairs and stopped short, terrified. This room is really creepy. I think we ought to get the hell out of here now. He jogged up the stairs to on the opposite side of the room and shook the door on the wall next to the catwalk. It didn't open, and he muttered to himself. Figures. It's locked, isn't it? Yep, don't know why I thought this one to be any different. Junpei looked around the room again. In the center of it was a chair. Das Wort Chair trägt gerade den ganzen Satz, ne? Also das ist jetzt doing some heavy lifting here. The back of it was covered with electrodes connected to a nest of wires. Beneath it was a strange glass panel. Junpei wasn't sure what it was for, but it made him uncomfortable. Whatever might have been beyond the glass, Junpei couldn't tell. It was too dark. Junpei turned to look at the right side of the room. There was a table covered with a piece of cloth. Parts of the cloth were stained with something that looked suspiciously like blood. On the top of the table were a number of metal instruments. Junpei didn't know what they were for, and he had a feeling he didn't want to find out. Bleh. His mind began to imagine what could have taken place in that dark, cold room. The things he imagined were not pleasant. Junpei shook his head in an attempt to clear it and tried to focus on something else. Anyway, we don't want to stay here any longer than we got to. Let's figure out the puzzle and get the hell out of here. Come on. Oh boy, viel Spaß im elektrischen Stuhlraum. Seek a way out. Das musst du mir nicht zweimal sagen.